Hello and welcome. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari is expected in the country tomorrow after meeting with Archbishop of Canterbury today in London. Abuja High Court sentences 2 police officers to death for killing 2 of 6 Igbo traders in Abuja in June 2005. Mixed feelings from passengers as local airline operations formally take off at Kaduna International Airport following closure of Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport for repair work. And Cyclone Enawo hammers Madagascar with 5 people killed since storm's landfall on Tuesday.
On business news tonight, Chairman of Nigerian Economic Summit Group, Mr. Buka Kyari, asks federal government to set a clear time frame for its economic recovery plan.
And on sports news tonight, Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger says fans' opinions will influence his decision on whether to remain in charge of the Gunners next season.
And from Abuja, Independent National Electoral Commission announces dates for 2019 general elections. Presidential polls slated for February the 16th.
We begin with some cheery news tonight. After 49 days in the United Kingdom, where he's been on vacation, President Muhammadu Buhari is expected back in the country tomorrow. Yes, that's right. The president's spokesman, Femi Adesina, confirmed this in a statement issued a few hours ago. The president, who left the country on January the 19th, was initially billed to spend 10 days and resume work on February the 6th. Before he left the country, the president had written to the National Assembly temporarily transferring power to the vice president, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, who's been acting in that capacity since then. On February 5th, however, the president wrote to the National Assembly informing it of his desire to extend his leave. The president says this was based on the advice of his doctors to complete a series of tests before returning to the country. Although the president had made several calls to some leaders back home, including the governors of Kano and Niger states, as well as the former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, and former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, there have been calls for him to address Nigerians directly. Mr. Adesina further says that the president expresses appreciation to Nigerians across the country and beyond who had prayed fervently for him and also sent their good wishes. And before the news of the president's return, he received the Archbishop of Canterbury at the Abuja House in London. President Muhammadu Buhari stated this on his Twitter handle, accompanied with a photograph showing him and the Archbishop Justin Welby in Abuja House. In the tweet, the president states, "Very pleased to welcome the Most Reverend and Right Honourable Archbishop of Canterbury to Abuja House this afternoon." End of quote. Away from the president's return after 12 years of trial, an Abuja High Court has sentenced 2 police officers, Ezekiel Acheneje and Emmanuel Baba, to death for killing 2 of the 6 Igbo traders in Abuja on June the 8th, 2005. Delivering his judgment, Justice Ishaq Bello said that the court had no option than to convict the 2 men on account of their confessional statement that they shot the 2 traders upon instruction from a superior officer. Our correspondent Amaka Okafor reports.
On the 8th of June 2015, Nigeria woke up to shocking news that 6 traders, Ifeanyi Ozo, Chinedu Meniru, Isaac Ekene, Paulinus Obonna, Anthony Nwokike, and Miss Augustina Arebum, had been killed by policemen on Gimbia Street, Abuja, on their way from a night party. Following outcry by human rights groups and families of the deceased, the federal government set up a board of inquiry headed by a former Inspector General of Police, Mr. Michael Kiro. The report of the board led to the filing of a 9-count charge of criminal conspiracy and culpable homicide against Deputy Commissioner of Police Danjuma Ibrahim, Ezekiel Acheneje, Emmanuel Baba, Othman Abdul Salam, Sadiq Salami, and Nicholas Zachariah, who is still at large. Out of the 6 policemen, Justice Ishaq Bello convicted and sentenced to death only 2 of them. The judge held that their confessional statement proved beyond reasonable doubt that they were guilty as charged for the killing of 2 of the 6 traders, Ms. Augustina Arebum and Anthony Nwokike. The judge said that the action of the convicted policemen were condemnable because there was no evidence that the 2 traders committed any crime at the time they were killed. However, 3 other policemen, including Deputy Commissioner of Police Danjuma Ibrahim, Othman Abdul Salami, and Sadiq Salami, who were charged with conspiracy and culpable homicide, were discharged and acquitted by the court for want of evidence. But as to the other 4 traders who were killed in a vehicle, the judge held that the issue remains ambiguous and vague because the prosecution was unable to establish those responsible for their murder, following the contradicting testimonies by 2 prosecution witnesses. Justice Bello said that in the face of the contradiction, it was practically impossible to hold anybody responsible for the death of the remaining 4 traders. When asked if justice had been served, the prosecutor responded.
The relevance of this case is to demonstrate to Nigerians that this issue of extrajudicial killing is a very serious one. For anybody, be a policeman on duty, to handle their rifle carelessly and kill an innocent and defenseless Nigerian citizen is not going to be tolerated.
Following the judgment in this controversial case, 12 years after the killing of the 6 traders, many are still debating 2 questions that still need to be answered. Who killed the remaining 4 traders? And will the federal government appeal the judgment as only 2 of the 6 defendants were convicted? Amaka Okafo, Channels Television News.
To aviation now, where local airline operations have formally taken off at the Kaduna International Airport as the Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport, Abuja, is closed to air traffic. While some passengers are excited about the arrangement, others are unhappy about the flight diversion to Kaduna. Meanwhile, earlier today, the federal government launched a harmonized departure and arrival card for international passengers. Our aviation correspondent Bukola Ju Oketumbi reports.
It's a day for local airlines at the Kaduna airport, and they have been arriving in their numbers. At the time of filing this report, about 17 flights have arrived and another 17 departed, making a total of 34. And as you can see behind me, some of the airlines are just about to depart, having boarded their passengers.
Soon after, other flights arrive and a passenger shares his impression of the relocation.
I'm quite pleased with everything for very obvious reasons. Taking off from Abuja to Enugu on Monday, one could realize that the runway was bad. And landing in Kaduna, the difference was clear. So I think for our safety, it's a good thing.
Within the hall where passengers are seated, an outbound passenger says the journey by rail from Abuja to Kaduna required is rising up at 4 a.m.
So we arrive here around 8:25. So on my coming here, I have to join the taxi again. That will take me from the train station to the railway station to this airport. So that is the experience, but it's very interesting anyway. It's a good experience.
With a lot of activities going on here, the Minister of State for Aviation announces the ministry's relocation to Kaduna and also pleads for support from Nigerians.
And all of those men and women that contributed to this. And also to say to Nigerians that this thing is temporary. They should bear with us in this type of emergency situation. Of course, they may observe certain lapses. It is not on purpose, it's not intentional. And once they find that out, we have a system in place where they can lodge their complaints and it will be attended to.
The minister may be asking Nigerians to be supportive, but here at the Abuja International Airport, passengers heading out of the country express dissatisfaction.
The effect is a negative one, to say. For example, I had a flight for 1:30 this afternoon. As a result of the distance, I have to reschedule it for the 4:30 flight, and that means that if the things I would have wanted to do this afternoon in Lagos, I wouldn't have to do them. I have to shift them to tomorrow. So it's really a negative one.
Very, very stressful. We've got to extend this up here to come here all the way, and then I'm going to Kaduna. Information hasn't been quite fine-tuned, so we've got to extend this up.
With the closure of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, aviation authorities say they have provided free buses for passengers who present valid tickets or boarding passes for easy movement to Kaduna. Kola Joe Oketumbi, Channels Television News.
Internally displaced persons from Kaga local government area of Borno State have now occupied houses built for them by the state government. Governor Kashim Shettima, alongside elder statesman Ahmed Tinubu, handed over the apartments to beneficiaries. According to the state government, 600 buildings have been constructed in Kaga alone for the use of the returning IDPs.
Most of those displaced by the insurgents in villages around Kaga local government area of Borno State, northeast Nigeria, have returned home to start a new chapter of their lives. In the wake of the crisis, many locals fled to Maiduguri, the state capital, and neighboring states for safety. As part of the peace building and reconstruction efforts of the state government, each returning family gets a new house. With new healthcare facilities, schools for the children and government infrastructure rebuilt, the status of the locals has changed from IDPs to normal citizens.
Congratulations on the effort. Thank you.
The projects were commissioned by a former Lagos State Governor and leader of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, who commended the resilience of the state government, challenging the federal government to get more involved in the Northeast project.
We cannot rest on our oars. You need the international community, you need the federal government to more rapidly respond to the need of the state, like a seriously Buhari Marshall Plan.
APC lawmaker Senator Aline Dume has been at the vanguard of soliciting more support for the Northeast by the federal government. He calls for better collaboration going forward.
The reconstruction, resettlement of the Northeast should be demand-driven. What I'm saying demand-driven is that there should be synergy between the organizations and the federal government and the state particularly.
Locals have also been empowered with drip irrigation kits, improved seedlings, portable net cages for poultry farming and specialized breeds of goats for animal husbandry. Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima says the plan is to make the locals self-reliant. He says the security situation in the area is stable, especially with the return of civil authorities. There's no threat to any life or property.
There's an element of risk in all parts of the world. You must have gone around Maiduguri. Maiduguri is safer than Kaduna, I dare to say. Maiduguri is much more safer than Lagos or even Abuja.
Bama, Goza and Dikwa local government councils are already undergoing reconstruction for the return of locals.
In part two, after the break, Inspector General of Police deploys Police Special Intervention Force to contain communal violence in Ile-Ife, Osun State. That's in a moment. So join us again.